Hello, and welcome to A Little Room for Healing, where we talk a little bit about healing, and then we do a little healing, and then we talk a little bit more. I am your host, Joel, and I'm really excited about today's podcast. It's the first time that I've been recorded on the road, and I'm out in Long Island with my friend Donna, who so kindly came on the show to share a bit about her story and connect with me. And I'm just so happy that you're here, Donna. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for coming all this way. And I'm really excited to be with you and see what comes up and through and what we share together.
Yay!
Yay.
That makes me so happy. I want to start with some check-ins. Let's check in about how we're feeling right now in this moment. I'm going to start this time. I feel, well, your dog Cody just got on my lap, so I feel really cozy. That's so cute. I love him. I feel really happy to be here with you. I feel I'm just now grounding, so I always get a little nervous before recording, and it takes me a few beats to land, and I'm still doing that. And I'm really curious and excited about what's going to come up between us today. That is where I am.
Thank you. I would say I feel I have a little bit of a clenched jaw for the last 2 days. So that's kind of distracting me a little bit from being really present in my body. And I'm really nervous to share my story. And I'm really excited that you're the one that I'm sharing it with. And that you're holding the space for me like you always do so well.
Thank you. This is reminding me of our talks on you when you used to live in the woods near me, and we used to sit on your back porch or back deck and talk. It was like the trees all around us and no one around, and we just shared so much stuff and learned so much stuff together. I miss that, but it's nice to have that with you right now again.
Yeah, I'm glad. I miss that too, actually. We got close towards the end of me living there, and I really miss having deep, meaningful conversations with someone, especially the masculine.
I'm glad we get to reconnect and do it again right now.
Yay.
So, you were telling me earlier that someone told you that you needed to share your story. Will you tell me about that moment?
I feel like when I went to Sedona on my soul journey, it was the prominent message. I was told from an intuitive reader. I was told from, I did share my story at Fit for Service with Aubrey Marcus. And when I did share it, I was very I felt messy. I was very vulnerable and nervous because I have a lot of shame around my story. I didn't tell it for a very long time until just a few years ago. I started to really share it. But when I did share it on stage in that messiness and vulnerability and shaking and talking about Donna Francine, at the end, people just they rushed towards the stage, and I felt so supported, and they were that was amazing. You need to tell people and I was I do. I do. And I mean, I know part of it is sharing my story to inspire others, but I would like to get the shame off of it and to kind of strip that off and let it be the mess is the message and pain is the purpose kind of thing.
Yeah. It's beautiful that all of those people rushed you and supported you and hugged you after that. Donna Francine is your child version of yourself, right?
That's what my grandmother, grandfather, because we had my other cousin, Donna Michelle, so they would always say, Donna Francine, like, and even my cousins, they still call me Donna Francine, and I'm like, that just reminds me of her, like, being young. Yeah.
Well, I love it. Donna Francine. Well, I would love to hear about Donna Francine.
Yeah.
If you would like to talk about her.
So I feel like I just wrote it out the other day because I'm working with someone with shadow work and trying to heal like the wounds. And so I have these like pivotal points that I feel were really difficult for me that I never really looked at, kind of just like, oh, that happened. No big deal. I didn't even know I had trauma and PTSD till I went into the cabin, actually. I really just thought like, well, all that shit happened and you've been on your own since you're 16 and, you know, just keep it moving. And I did, but I didn't know I was in survival mode and everything like that, which that kind of bothers me a little bit that it took me so long. But those wounds were a lot and I didn't realize it was a lot to carry. So I basically was born addicted to heroin. My mom was 16 and my dad was 17. And I think they were both good people, but they must have had trauma. And they were so young. And I feel like I was born like already suffering. And I was like, I don't like that. That kind of sucks that I came out, like, because the withdrawal for infants is really painful. I don't know that part, but I was told that part. And
I bet your body remembers that part. You might not. I feel like your body probably remembers that part somewhere in there.
It has to, like, right? And then from what I was told from family members, like my dad was in the Army, and so primarily my mom was 16. We lived with my grandmother and grandfather in Brooklyn. But I think when my father was in the Army, we went to Texas for a while, and I believe there was a lot of chaos. And I was told by my uncle that there was times when the police came, there was like drugs. My mom had to go to jail for, I think she tried to shoot my dad, and I was in the room. And like when they would come, I was like hungry and my diaper was full. And so I believe like there was a lot of not good care in the beginning. And I was taken from Texas back to my grandparents, and I believe my mom was there too. I don't remember that part, but then at 4 years old, I remember being in a gas station. My mom was in the front seat, and a man was in the driver's seat. He had mirrored sunglasses, but I don't think it was my dad. And I don't know if I went in the bathroom with her. I heard that I did, but all I remember was being in the car and her body being thrown on the front seat, and they were throwing snow on her. It was February and it was sunny, and they were trying to revive her, and I just was like frozen. I was like, I didn't cry, I didn't do anything. And that's all I remember of my mom. That's the only thing I remember of her. And see, when you make that sound, that makes me like, because in my mind, it wasn't that bad. But when I hear someone like reflect that it was, that's what brings up. So then after that, another pivotal point was my Uncle Buster, my mom's half-brother, came and lived with us and helped with my grandfather and grandmother to care for me. And I don't remember a lot of it. It seemed like okay. My grandfather was my rock. He was my protector. He would like rock me on the porch. Like I felt safe with him. My grandmother was a little much. She was a lot. And my Uncle Buster cared for us, and I would sleep with him at night. I remember he would brush my hair. I don't know why I slept with him, but I think it was okay.
You just shared a bed with him?
Yeah, I think we just, for comfort. I think it was that. I don't know how long it was for, but my mom died at 4, and I know when I was 6, I tried to wake him up, and he was dead. and he died of a heroin overdose too. So I don't even know if I knew about that. Like as a little girl, do you even know what's happening? But I remember trying to shake him and get him up. And from that point on, my grandmother kind of lost it. Like two of her children just died of heroin overdoses. And I think she was probably already on pain meds. Like, I think she had some issues around depression and stuff. And then the other pivotal point was when I was about 7. I remember her laying in bed. Now, I loved being with my grandfather. Like, we would get ice cream. He would rock me at night. Like he was my everything. His name was Don. He was my everything. And there was one particular day when my grandmother was laying in bed, and she called me over. She was like, "Donna, Francine, come here. And something in me, my intuition was like, I don't know. I felt it. I remember that. But she like summoned me over, and I came over to her bed, and she grabbed my wrist and she started pummeling me. And when she did that, she never hit me before I like peed myself. And I remember that. I remember standing there like in shock. And I think that day was like probably harder than the day my mother died, because that's when they took me out of the house, and I had to go live with an aunt and uncle in Long Island. And it wasn't very safe there. They were pretty like raging alcoholics. It was a little crazy there. And I didn't know them that well. Like I knew them, but not that well. And then I eventually ended up upstate with Madge and Mike, my mother's sister, from 8 till, with them till like 13. And that was really hard because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be away from my grandfather. And I really do think that is the biggest wound, was being taken away from my grandfather. Now that I've done the plant medicine and breath work, and it was leaving him, my only safe person. And living in a house with my uncle, who I knew he didn't want me there, and my mom's sister did, but she was, a recovering alcoholic, kind of. She just wasn't available. She had her own trauma, and I just felt like I was living in this place. All this trauma, nobody there I couldn't express anything. Like I felt if I did, I would be shamed. It was very controlling. Who I lived with, Mike, was very controlling. Like he would be like crabby. I had to eat a certain way. I couldn't like play and like raise my voice. I couldn't, like we had to sit very proper. And then when he would go away to the firehouse and work for a couple of days, it was better. Madge would be like lighter, and it was fun. And then he would come home, and we were back like in this cage. And
were you ever able to visit your grandfather during that?
No, not till the day he died.
That was the next time you saw him?
Mm-hmm. I was 13, and I went to his bedside, and I just remember, like I was 13 and I didn't know what to do, and I haven't seen him for years, but I really like wish I would have gotten in bed with him and just cuddled him. I just think I have a lot of grief around that too, because I just wish I would have did something more, but I didn't know what to do. I was 13 and I didn't stay long. I guess I didn't want to deal with it. And then the next time was at the funeral, and I walked in, and I remember seeing the coffin, and I just passed out. I collapsed. And then, lived with Madge and Mike. And Mike...
I have a question real fast.
Yeah.
Would you like to be in that grief of your grandfather for a little bit?
I have been doing it in breath work, and like when I was in Orby Marcus's Fit for Service, a beautiful thing was, I don't know if I'm deflecting, but like in the breath work, I kept going, no, I don't want to go. Like I had her, I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Like I was like finally allowing her to express, like, I don't want to leave him. And I had no choice.
Donna Francine.
Donna Francine did not want to go. And so in the breath work, this guttural grief has been coming up and being expressed. And in the last one at Fit for Service, it was happening again, and I was crying, and somebody came behind me and they put their hand on my back and they whispered, "You now have choice." And I went, it like landed in my body. I was like, oh my God, I do. Yeah.
Sounds like exactly what Donna Francine needed to hear.
Yeah.
And all the times where her choice was taken away.
And you know, the crazy part is like, you know, you just operate. Like, you just, like, I was just surviving, like, living with Madge and Mike, and like, you should be grateful you live here. Like, that was the message. You should be grateful. But like, I couldn't, like, I had lice, and like, you know, like, I wasn't cared for properly, and like, to ask for something, I would be shamed. I would be put on a front stoop with a suitcase, you know, and they'd be like, if you don't behave, someone's coming to get you. Like, they had these tactics that weren't really safe for me. And I know Madge wanted me, and I know she did her best. But for what I went through, like, I really needed a soft space. I needed a safe space, and I didn't have it. And then Mike started to, my uncle started to molest me when I was 9. I started to develop, and he started to, you know, I never actually said I was molested because I never thought it was bad, like, because it wasn't like forced. It was more like, I'll be nice to you now, so come here and do these things. And I never thought it was like that bad. I was actually like, I say this because I'm like, wow, like, I got attention. I was like, at least I got some attention from the masculine, you know? And so that went on for a couple of years, and then she divorced him, and then it was just craziness until I moved out at 16 and been on my own pretty much. No, not really having family or, you know.
Where did you go?
I got a job at ShopRite, and I got a studio apartment, and I lived upstate, and I kind of like relied too much on boyfriends, you know, and their families. Like, I was just trying to get support and somebody to be there for me. And so, like, unfortunately, I was like, you know, with the wrong people and stuff. Like, and actually, one of the things I wrote about, the pivotal things in my life that were not good for me, which I kind of forgot, was like, I had sex when I was just turned 13 with an 18, 19-year-old. And I was like, wow, I kind of forgot about that. That's kind of traumatizing, you know, because it wasn't loving. It was more like just to get attention, just to feel loved. Yeah. And then now I can look back and go, damn, I was just a little girl. But I guess, like, when your body's being exposed to an adult in their 40s, you don't really, you're like, all right, just try to keep getting the love. Oh, damn.
Just gonna let that hang for a minute. Just take it in. One of the things that we've talked about a lot about your journey, your life, your story, is a sense of home. Whoa, I just got emotional thinking about it. And how you haven't felt like you've had a home for as long as you can remember.
Yeah, I'm still there. The cabin was for a minute.
Yeah.
I guess because, like, the cabin was, my Uncle Charlie built it. And I had him in my life, my dad's brother, for like 10 years of my entire life, from like 36 to 46. And he was a hippie like me, so we did get along. But then there was another break in a family situation there where they all kind of left. And when I moved into his cabin when he passed, I was like, I'm in a family home. Oh my God, I'm actually in a family home. And even going there made me start to realize, like, oh shit, I have trauma around my dad's side now. Like, like I would look at, like, oh yeah, that happened with my mom. But then I was like, oh, where was everybody when I was young? I had a grandmother, I had aunts and uncles. And so that going in the cabin and being in a space by myself and not having energies like distract me or pull me out of myself was like where the healing begun. And then, like, you guys 4 miles down the road really fucking opened it up. Whoa. So yeah, that felt like a home. But now I feel like I'm back out there again. I'm feeling settled and like safe in my body.
You're not feeling safe in your body right now? Or these days?
No. Nope.
Is that due to you're saying that's due to the not being settled in a home?
I just think I need to be in my own amazing, beautiful energy. I think, like, nothing against anybody, but like, I went to Sedona for 2 weeks. This was so powerful for me. I went to Sedona for 2 weeks, and I was like, how come I don't feel so depressed? How come I'm not that anxious? How come I'm actually really happy? And I'm having a blast with myself. And then I went, oh my God, I got to look at who's around me. And not that it's so much that anyone's doing anything. It's the wounds in me that their energy is hitting on. That's causing disruption within me to look at. Like, I would like to feel safe. I would actually like to, like, I feel like I'm a little bit more safe in my body now because, like, I have choice now. I kind of remembered that I actually have choice and I don't actually have to be anywhere I don't want to be. But I think because I carry the trauma and the wounds and the PTSD and all that unresolved stuff that hasn't been healed or witnessed in the way or supported in the way or whatever needs to happen has not been cleared from me. So I'm still scanning a room. I'm still not like, oh, let me fix this energy because it doesn't feel safe. So let me try to shift the energy in the room, which I did as a child. Like, I adapted, like, be funny, be cute, like, be the light. And I still carry it with me. And that's only just so I can feel safe. But I didn't know that. I thought that was my job, was to make everybody happy and make everybody... There was a lot of grief. I remember hearing my grandmother wailing after my mom died. And I was like, like, it was so loud. And I just went, And then I went on, put on pajamas and silly socks and was like, let me be the clown or whatever, right? To like shift the energy. But I've done that so much that I've been outside of myself. And so, like, I can't be home because I'm so focused outside.
What does the lack of safety feel like in your body?
Well, my jaw is so clenched. Like, so clenched. It wasn't as clenched in Sedona, which is a real good, like, indicator for me. But I think that and not sure because I'm still disconnected from my body a little bit. Like food and things still numb and distract, and people distract, so I'm not really sure, but I know the clenched jaw. And just the sense of like, at any time, something can go wrong. Like, oh, that energy just walked in. Like it happened yesterday. I was like, oh, that energy just walked in. And I was like, don't try to change the energy. Like I felt it. Just let it be. You don't have to like do anything. Let others be uncomfortable if they are. Like I was going through a whole thing yesterday with that. Because I want people to feel comfortable around me.
Mm-hmm. Because if they feel comfortable and you feel safe.
I guess so. I guess.
What does oh sorry, what were you gonna say?
But where my friend Allie, who I love so much,
mm-hmm.
she always says, make people uncomfortable. And I was like, I love that. Because that's really hard for me. But I really want to practice it more.
Is it actually making people uncomfortable, or is it being comfortable in other people's energies that
Probably
you don't
both.
have to fix?
Probably both.
Like let people be uncomfortable.
Yeah, like
maybe.
say that thing. Like say that thing.
Okay.
Instead of being like, oh, if I say that, they're going to get upset, and then maybe I won't be belonging in this community, or maybe they won't be my friend, or there's so much fear of abandonment from, I was abandoned a lot. Like a lot. Like when I think about it, I'm like, oh, and even in my adulthood with my father's side, they even did a whole thing where they told me I wasn't welcome in the family anymore. So it's been a running theme. And so, of course, I'm going to be sweet and nice and accommodating to keep people and keep a smile on my face. But all of that changed once I did plant medicine. I mean, it started to change. I was like, and even like a couple of months ago, I remember I go, I'm just going to have a grumpy face. I'm not, and I did, and I remember walking around like, I was like, just, that's what you're going to do. And not smile. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It felt good.
Yeah.
It felt like, well, there you are.
Oh.
You actually have a lot of grief and rage, and you have good reasons for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
I do.
Mm-hmm. And those feelings deserve their voice.
Yeah.
To be heard. 100%.
Thank you. I seem to put myself around people who don't know how to be with that. Like situations like that have happened in the last 2 years around like trauma and PTSD being activated in me made me like collapse in and be like, who are you to hold space for anybody? Who are you to do anything? And I really became pretty depressed. And the last 2 years were like really hard. Because like things would happen and I couldn't understand how people would react that way. Like a situation on a boat with friends where I was promised it would be safe, and you know, I told him I'm a little nervous and no worries, and we're out in the boat. He just decides to go into the ocean with a lot of people, you know, who I knew on the boat, and he's drinking and smoking and driving fast, and it was so chaotic, and we were and I fucking panicked. And then the reaction, like, was shocking. That I was, like, crying and nobody came over to me. Like, it made me realize people don't know, they don't understand how to respond to trauma and PTSD, I think. But that feeling alone in that panic and shame of, like, oh, I ruined it for everyone, but I was petrified. That shame was really a lot for me. And it just made me go, don't be around people. So I slowly started and other things that happen. But it just made me start to go inward, and not in a good way, but just like people aren't safe, groups aren't safe. And I just don't have a lot of people that are like, tell me about your grief. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's better now. It's started to get better now.
That's good.
Yeah. You did. You were like, give it to me. And Allie, my friend Allie, she was like, get those tears over here. I want it so bad. I'm like,
I love that.
I'm like, it's okay to cry.
I love that. Get those tears over here.
She was so helpful in my healing because she's like, shadow. She's like, I love that shit. Let's go deep. I'm like, really? You want to like hear? Like, I remember one day she stayed over here, right where we are, and she was kind of a new friend, but we were like hanging out, and I remember her talking about, I think it was around the holidays, and she was talking about her family and all that they do, and like she was kind of like tickling my back, and she goes, oh, my mom does this to me, and I was like, and I went, moms do that to you? Like, it made me go, oh, like, I don't realize that all that I didn't have till certain situations, and I didn't think much of it, but then I went upstairs and I went to bed, and then the next morning I woke up and I go, I feel like I'm going to burst into tears, and I'm not sure why, and I came downstairs and I go, Allie, I feel like I'm going to cry, and she goes, come on. She literally put me on her lap and held me, and I've done that for women too, but like she held me and she let me weep. And I don't remember experiencing that in my life. Like, I was like, oh my God. So she's been so important to me, like, to like just get it out, and that your dark is good and the shadow is good, and like she would always remind me in the last year, like last year was a really bad year, and she would be like, you're fucking Donna Amber, like remember who you are, you're a light, like, but I couldn't see my light. I was too I think too broken. Like, I think too many disappointments and too many people letting me down, and me trying so hard to make friends and community and be in service, and I felt depleted and unsupported, and I just crashed. At the end of last year, I crashed.
Well, I would like to offer you some energy healing work.
Yeah.
And also, I want to say thank you to Allie.
Yeah.
For giving you that space to cry and to grieve. That's so beautiful, and big gratitude to her, and that you were able to find that space in someone. I feel like now is a good time to go up and do some Laho Chi, and I'm wondering if you'd like to set an intention for this session.
Yeah. To feel safe in my body, to let any energy that's really blocking my heart to release, and to let any emotions flow up and out, and just to heal everything. Just heal it all, because this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, okay? Oh my God, just please just go. That would be perfect for me.
Well, we will do what we can do.
She can come.
Yeah. Okay, let's go do it then. Okay, we will be back after Donna's 13th octave Laho Chi session. Okay. We are back from Donna's session, and it was a little bit of an adventure, I must say. Let's start with a check-in about how we're feeling now. And let me go first again. I am calm. I'm relaxed. I am very curious and very intrigued about what happened for you. So I will now pass it over to you for your check-in.
Okay. I feel like I'm vibrating internally, but the vibration feels more about laughter and tears, which is something that I'm actually like, oh, I don't do that. But I feel like this vibration, like I feel like I'm going to start to like laugh. Like I'm not be able to stop. I'm going to keep it together. Yeah, so I like that feeling actually.
Cool. You may be able to hear it, but there is someone mowing.
It's called a leaf blower.
Or is it leaf blowing? It sounds like
in
a
Long Island. That's all they do.
That may come and go. So, would you like to? Are you open to sharing a little bit about what came up for you? All right, bring it. I'm ready. I'm so ready. Bring it on.
So, first of all, when you started the session, I could not believe. I felt like you had hot gloves on. I was like, why is my head burning hot? Like when your hand was hovering there, and then I was like, that's amazing. And then I was like, all right, maybe it's just my head's hot. And then you moved it to like the throat, and I was like, your hands were like burning hot, like energy hot. I was so like, holy crap. I love the session because I loved how you did the invocation. That felt so sacred to me, and I felt so safe with you. And it was really good for me to be like in that safe masculine energy and quiet, because a lot started to come through with different things. We had, well, first I want to say, like, because I felt safe around you, I started to realize, like, and I know this, I've realized this, like, I'm always braced. When I wake up from my sleep, I'm braced. And I'm like, oh God. And I started to realize that in the last couple of months. And on the table, I was like, oh, I'm still braced. Oh, I'm still braced. And I was trying to, like, just really feel your safety and your energy and allow myself to just, like, soften as you move, like, the energy healing around through me. So, like, that was something I was really conscious of. So that was really good for me. And then we had leaf blowers, like, all up in our shit, like, right outside the window. Like, it was crazy for how long it was going on. And it was so loud, but I was like, you can't let the outside disturb your peace. This is part of your lesson. So I was like really trying to just, oh, you're braced again, unbrace. Joel's got it. He's holding this container. Don't let that outside get you. And I just tried to keep that focus. And then it got so much, which was so hysterical, that I was like, are they going to crawl in the window? Like, I was just like, and I bursted out laughing and scared you.
Yeah, you did.
But, and then I started to cry. And then I started to realize, like, I don't laugh enough. Like, I really don't. Like, that makes me want to cry. Like, I don't laugh. And that felt so good to laugh. And I don't cry enough. And I'm like, wow, I'm in Joel's presence just a couple hours, and I'm feeling so safe and de-armored that I can cry and I can laugh. I don't have to tighten up and armor and protect against energies that I don't feel safe around. And that really sucks because I really feel that. And it's everywhere I go. I don't really, not everywhere, there's just for certain people that I can feel safe with, but not a lot. But that really just showed me that I need to laugh more and I need to cry more and I need to be around people where I feel safe and that can hold that kind of space for me. Do you have any questions?
No, I was just taking in I was taking in what you were saying about feeling safe in my presence, and it means a lot to me. So, very happy to be able to give you that.
Thank you.
And provide that for you.
Yeah, because it really affected me where I was like, oh my God, I'm giggling, laughing. Oh, now I'm crying. Oh, my body needs to flow. Not armor.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, I've been armored for 59 years and I have to de-armor. And I kept trying and I was like, soften, unbrace, so it's not realizing how much my body has been like this. Protect yourself. It's not safe anywhere.
Yeah, my experience giving this session, you had made a request to shorten it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was honoring that request. And then the noise of the leaf blower and then the heater noise and your dog Cody did a little tiny bark or two, and I was like, went through this process of, I feel the energy. I'm hoping that she's not being taken out of her experience in it, but hearing that it all was tying into your experience, of course it was, because that's the way that it always works. It always works that way.
And that's what I was saying too. I was like, I wonder if Joel thinks that this is ruining my experience, where I was like, practice not letting the outside throw you off your center, because that's my work. Mm-hmm. So I was taking all of that in and just being like, and then as soon as I said, oh my God, are they going to crawl through the window? And I laughed, it went away. It went further away because it was up there. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, you're so powerful. You just made them go away. Just by expressing. Mm-hmm. By that kind of shift the energy out.
Vocalizing what was happening.
And let it release out of the body with laughter and crying, and it went away. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have laughed and cried and went, oh my God, I don't laugh and cry.
What a fun journey. What was wasn't your part of your intention to feel safe?
Yeah.
During this session?
Yeah. And to let whatever come out. And it was laughter and tears, which I've never laughed and cried right with it, right after it. I've never had that thing happen. I was like, oh, is orgasm next? No, I don't think so. Because I used to always say, I want to laugh, cry, and orgasm every day. Because I just want to move energy. I don't want to be stuck in my body. Mm-hmm. And I was literally like, oh my God, my body feels so from all of that. The energy, the laughter, so good.
Oh, it's so good. Really good. I had a question go through me, and then it left as I got swept back up into listening to you. Well, maybe it'll come to me later. Okay. When before we started between ending the session and starting the second half of the podcast, You told me that you had more to say
Yeah, I do.
about your journey.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that. I want to check in to make sure that there isn't more from your session that wants to be talked about or moved. Like, were there any physical aspects to it, or was the journey? Oh, this is what I was going to say about your journey and about, I love that you, instead of letting the sound and the noise and the distraction take you away from your experience, I love that you integrated it into your experience and you went and you sat in that. That is so powerful, and that's the way to work with your healing. That's just the way to do it. And so powerful how you did that. So great.
Thank you. But why
Beautiful
can't
work.
I feel like I don't do that in the norm, the energies around me. I'm like, why can't I just let it be whatever it is instead of like, oh, or like I wish I could just be like, flow, whatever. Oh, be like that. Whatever. No, I just get like really,
Yeah.
So
Well,
I would actually like to be more like how I was in that session, and maybe I will now.
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in the process of learning it, and
Yeah.
it takes time to learn things and to shift into it and integrate it and take it on wholly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm complete. I think it's from the session, I feel there was a lot of power in it as to what I said, but nothing's coming up at the moment other than that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it was a really beautiful journey. Thank you for sharing that part of it.
Thank you for holding space.
You're so
Whoa.
welcome. So, there's more to your story that you want to share.
Yes.
And there's more to your story that I want to hear. So, it works out pretty good for both of us.
That's so nice. It's so nice to hear that, because there's so much shame around telling my story that I never talked about it as a kid, because I'm like, oh, what am I going to say? My parents were heroin addicts. Like, I don't have any parents, like, so I just kind of made up. I never really said it too much. And in my adult life, when I wanted to share it, I was told, don't cry over spilled milk, get over it. And so there was nobody who ever wanted that, like the story. And so I felt a lot of shame around it. And this is probably like maybe the third time I'm ever like really saying it out loud. And I think that's why I get so emotional and shaky, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm really saying what happened to her. But that's why I'm doing all of this. It is for her. It's for my inner child, because she wasn't safe and she wasn't seen and she wasn't held and supported and loved well. And that trauma has lived with me my whole life. And I just have had adult trauma after adult trauma because of all of that happening. I didn't think I was lovable. I didn't think I was worthy. I didn't think I was enough. And all I did from that trauma was prove myself, like prove my worth. Have certain conditioning to make sure, like, if I give you this and I do all this for this, you'll love me. Like, so all of this was just so carried into my adult life. And there's been like, I could tell you the adult life, chapter 2 podcast about the traumas of my adult life because of the wounds of my childhood that were not healed, validated. I did not have any one person in my childhood except my grandfather where I felt safe. And even like, you're like, oh, when you get married, maybe you have a mother-in-law. There was nobody. Not a teacher, not a mentor. And that is shocking to me, and I don't understand that. But this person that I felt I was, this broken person who didn't feel safe in relationships, who had to work really hard to be in relationships, who just felt broken. I would say that was my mantra. I would be like, I'm broken, I'm broken, I'm broken. I would say it because I'm like, why did this relationship just fracture? Why did this not feel safe? And like, I've come to this place in my life now, like just recently, mostly through plant medicine a couple of years ago, where I went through the journey and it opened up that trauma. Like, I had no connection to what happened to me. I would say it, but I didn't feel anything. And then the plant medicine like blew me open, where I felt what my little inner child went through. And so from the last couple of years, that mantra of broken has become like, no, I'm actually brave. She's actually brave. Like, to go through this whole life with that kind of foundation and not have anyone there, and to be who I am, it's like a little bit of a miracle. It's kind of a miracle. Because I could be a drug addict. I could be so many things. And I guess, like, God's like, you got a purpose, girl. You got a purpose. And that's truly what I feel is inside of me. I feel like because I know loneliness and despair and trauma and PTSD and addictions and all of this abandonment, like, I know it so well that maybe I am there to be a beacon of light for others who feel that, who feel lonely like I feel, and struggling like I feel, and suffering like I feel. And that I can say, me too. And they feel less lonely. And the goal is to heal myself, that I just like take my hand and reach it back for the people who are ready to be like, yeah, me too, I'm ready to feel good in my life.
Great goal.
Yeah. And it's been what I've been doing for 9 years, but I've been doing it from a wounded place, of a depleted place, of not being supported in my own life. I just didn't know it. I didn't know it until I did the plant medicine, and it showed me. And of course, all those things that have happened, those big triggers, the boat, the thing that happened here that have really impacted me, it was not really about that. It was really about that there's a wound that's looking to be healed inside of me, and that I keep deflecting and ignoring the trauma, and it's just like really looking for me to give it the love and attention that it needs. And last year, at the end of last year, was the year where I was like, I can't take it anymore. Like, I don't even like to say, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say, but like, I was like, this is too much, too long. There's nobody there for me. I don't feel safe. I'm sitting in a cabin alone for 3 years. I really need help. I don't know what to do. I have no money. And I was at the end of my rope. And I came running to Long Island because I was like, you can't be alone anymore. Like, you are not okay like this. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I want to just love life. I just want to laugh and have a beautiful, joyful life. And for some reason, it's like really hard. And so I came to Long Island, and I said to a friend of mine, I said, I need to go to a trauma place. I need help. I don't know. I just can't. It's 59 years of me holding this up, managing it all alone, and I'm just done. Like, I can't do it. And then I did this special healing journey with a good friend of mine, and he held the space for me in a way that I was able to finally make a decision. And what came up in that healing process is, I'm going to sell the cabin. And that was so hard for me because it was my safe place, and it was my uncle's home that he built with his 2 hands. And that decision I needed in order to get resources to help heal myself. And as soon as I made that decision, real estate agent came. I sold it the first weekend. I said, I want it fast, easy, cash. And the first weekend it was listed, it was fast, easy, cash. I was out in 6 weeks. I was like, all right, what's the healing going to be? Where am I going to go? And I started with a 9-day breathwork training. And I walked into a room of 50 amazing people that I'm still connected to. I'm actually going to see one of the guys next weekend who still holds space for me to do breath work, helps me to feel safe and seen. And then I saw Fit for Service, and I said, I'm going on a soul journey. I'm going to go to Sedona. And all because I chose that, it started that really, like, me being able to get the healing that I need. By that decision of doing that hard thing of releasing that safe home, but trusting that I needed to do that in order to heal myself so I can be what I know I need to be out in the world and shine the light for her. Because it can't be all for nothing. Like, I'm like, you can't go through all that for nothing. That's how I feel. No way. I want you to be, like, I want Donna Francine to be the person that's out there and cracks open all these people who don't even know that they have trauma and that they're like, oh, I have an inner child in me that needs healing because I didn't know. Like, I want to be that. I want to be like, crack, 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 crack. You got an inner child, too, that needs your love and attention. Brave, not broken.
Brave, not broken. Sounds like you're in a powerful part of your journey where you get to really focus on you and have a freedom and a space to do it. And I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I haven't found the complete space for it, but...
Well, by space I mean time.
Yeah.
Oh, like that kind of space.
Yeah.
And freedom to do it.
Yeah. And I literally, like, there's a beautiful part too, like, you know, when I went and did the breath work, which I've been doing for 9 years. I've been holding space for people for 9 years to do breath work, but I wasn't doing it. And so when I went up and did it for 9 days, I was like, holy shit, this is so powerful, because guttural grief came through. And 9 days, every day, each day, I was like, no way am I going to do what happened yesterday. Same thing. I was like, wow, there's like so much inside of me. And that 9 days was just like so powerful for me to see like what was inside of me. And I forgot where I was going. What did you say? Oh, and so when I came back from that, I got a therapist. I got an emotional processor. I had someone do breath work with me on Zoom weekly. I was like, boom, boom, Fit for Service is coming. I was like, like, and I was like reaching outside, like, this is going to help me. This is going to serve me. This is going to heal me. And then there was one time my dear friend Carlos and I was doing breath work, and he's like, my Zoom isn't working. He goes, I'm going to talk to you before, and then you're going to do it on your own, the breath work.
Whoa.
And I went, oh, but I really need support. And I did the breath work alone, and I had such a powerful experience. The guttural grief came up, the tears, the anger. I was holding her. I was like, ah! I was like going, I was going crazy. And then I went, oh my God, I actually don't need all that outside stuff. It's actually my own healing within. And yes, you do want space held for you, but I had so much going on in different people that it started to get.
It sounds like you need a healthy balance of outside support and the care and love that you can give to your parts yourself.
Yeah. So that was powerful. I was like, okay, I'm done with you, I'm done with you, I'm done with you, but I'll keep you. But very, very grateful for the resources that the cabin provided me in order to like finally like heal. And I'm just like kind of started. And I don't actually know, like, I'm like, that's what I'd like to ask you, Joel.
Ask me.
So like hearing my story And if I was someone to come to you and say, like, now that you know, like, all that trauma and all of that, plus all the adult stuff, what would you, like, if you were to recommend me to do something, like, or, like, what would you say to me? Like, some, like, direction, guidance, or just reflection? Like, what would you say?
After hearing all your story?
Yeah, because I always go, like, how do I heal all this? I'm always like, I feel a little overwhelmed. Like, how do I heal all this? Like, because I'm kind of like talking to a therapist, blah, 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 blah. The breath work is good. But, like...
Let me feel into it. What I would say.
Okay.
I would say keep going. Keep going with giving Donna Francine a place to express, and that place being you.
Yeah.
Adult Donna holding Donna Francine, and keep letting her tell her story to you the way she needs to say it, and the way she needs to cry it out and yell it out, and keep and stay right there with her. That's what I would say to you.
I love that. That actually happened in one of my medicine journeys. I remember that so vividly, like where it was like, I remember my body was like trembling, and then I was like, oh, I'm the container for her. I remember that. I was like, what? I was like, and I remember going, it's okay to tremble, Donna Francine. It's okay to cry, Donna Francine. It's okay. And I kept like talking into her, but I was like, I am the container for her. So that was like, you just reminded me of that.
Yeah. You are where she can feel safe.
Yeah, I abandoned her too, though. Like, that's the whole thing of like, I'm like, nope, nobody, ever. I got you now.
Yeah.
Because I did it too, because I didn't know.
And I also would like in the process of learning to be the safe space for her, you may not get it right every time.
Yeah.
And you can let her know that. You can let her know that you're trying and that you really mean well. And sometimes you may not do the right thing, but you promise, if you have it in you, tell her you promise that you're going to come back.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep trying.
Yeah. No, I am like, I feel the conviction of it. I mean, me being on stage at Fit for Service and holding this pillow up and being like, it's all for her. This is all for her. Because she's so worthy and I didn't know it. And I just numbed and distracted and deflected and poured out all my beautiful energy. And now it's like, I just keep saying, oh, I'm going to give you a happy childhood now. And that's why when I was on the table and I was laughing and crying, I'm like, I need to be around more people that I feel safe in order to like let all that flow out of me instead of like clench down.
Can I share? I want to share with the people about what you created here. And you made a pillow with your younger self on it, Donna Francine, a big picture of her on this pillow. And I think it's the most beautiful thing because you can give her a hug anytime. You can take her with you. You can just love her and support her right there. And I just think that is such a great idea and a beautiful gesture to her.
I just feel like, for me, I would always be like, yeah, my inner child, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, I can't really see it. But doing this and going on my soul journey for 2 weeks to Sedona, I'm like, here, you're going first class. You're sitting in the plane with me. We're going first class because you didn't get treated like that. I got a Mercedes, so she can sit in a frickin' Mercedes. everything I did was for her to feel special. And having the pillow like this, like she was at Fit for Service with Aubrey Marcus and all these high-vibing podcasters. I did breath work with her. She sat on that stage in a special chair. Like, the fact that I was able to hold this outside of myself and go, look at her. She is brave. It's so powerful. Oh. Like, so powerful. And it's so weird, but like, I said to my friend, I go, I feel like she's starting to smile more. And I was like, am I crazy? But I felt before it was frozen, and now it's like, sort of like, oh.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It is kind of, the picture has, her mouth is open and you see her teeth, and it's like, her mouth is in the shape of a almost smile. It's kind of Mona Lisa-esque, where she does seem, it's like on one hand, if you look at it the way Donna was just saying, and you think that she's frozen and scared, and then if you really look, you can see that there is a smile happening. It's
I feel
really
like
cool.
In 6 months she's gonna be like it's gonna be big. I'm like,
I just saw a move. She just laughed a little bit.
It's so weird, but I think it's true. And then, like, when I look at this, what it reminds me of, too, is like, ooh, you had a satin bow and your hair was perfect. But boy, what a mess that was inside and where I lived and all that. Like, you know, like, I don't know, it's just like that kind of like, I lived in a nice house and we had a boat and a car and all of that, but I felt like this neglected little child inside. And so, like, that's why, like, part of my message, too, is, like, if I didn't know I had complex PTSD, and all of the other stuff until 55, like, there's got to be people walking around going, why am I struggling? Why am I suffering? Why is life so hard? And not looking at, like, what happened, maybe, in their childhood or maybe adult. But I think it's, like, I really do feel like it's my mission.
To help people's inner children be seen and heard.
To help people who are struggling and suffering like I did for all these years. Because, like, I have helped a lot of people, mainly women, on a trajectory down a road where they're not happy in their marriages and da-da-da. And I went, how about this? And we swung them over here and it put them on a different journey. And then they found their way to, like, yoga trainings and whatever they needed. But I think the most important part in what I didn't have is someone going, here, take my hand. Let's go. I got you. I'll show you the way. Might be bumpy. I might not know it. Like, but like somebody to reach out that hand and say, I support you. And I'll help you figure it out. Because I didn't have that. I feel like it's that. Because that one little gesture could mean so much to somebody who's really not okay. Because I really needed it. I'd scream it inside myself, I'm over here. Somebody. And so I want to be that.
Did you receive that gesture?
Well, in different ways, but never fully feeling completely safe. Like my partner, he was the first person to see me and support me, but there was a lot of trauma bonding, and so it wasn't safe feeling, but I did feel like, okay, at least somebody's there for me, but it was his trauma, my trauma. And then like little pieces with certain people, I feel like it's shifting more now. Like in the friendships that I'm starting to attract through the breath work, through you, Allie. It's starting, but I believe it's because I won't tolerate anything else now. Like, I won't allow her to, like, I won't allow, like, one of the main things that intuitive reader said to me when she said during that reading that I did in Sedona, the first thing she said was 4 years old, abuse, maltreatment. And I went, ugh, what did she just say? I was abused? And then I went, oh my God, like, I have never said I was abused my whole life. I said abandoned, trauma. I've never said abused. And when she said that, it like punched me right in my chest. I remember I went, oh my God, trying not to react because I didn't want to feed into her. But I didn't even know her, and that she said that, and she said abuse. I left there and I said there will be not one day that I will allow her to be abused ever again, or myself. Committed to that. Like, don't even try. Like, where before I would be scared to say anything, or they're not going to be my friend, or they're going to leave, or they're going to think I'm not nice. Now I'm like, nope. No more abuse.
It's a great step on the journey for safety.
Yes.
Well, do you feel like you have shared all of what you've wanted to share about your story in this particular moment?
The only thing I want to just say, excuse me, is that I just started to do shadow work with someone for the next 3 months. So it's like, yeah, I still need support. But I do feel that most of my healing is going to come through being loved well in safe relationships. But first to do it for myself, and then allowing that to show up. I really do feel like that's going to be the healing. That's going to be the salve, like the oozy, yummy, laugh, cry, feel safe in your body. And that going back to all those situations and those wounds and that anger and the resentment and forgiving everybody for everything is really going to be the medicine. Not there yet. But I do know that that's going to be the medicine. Because I wouldn't be who I am if all of that didn't happen. I don't love saying that, though. I really don't.
We strongly wish it didn't happen. Yeah.
But I will take it, alchemize it, and create.
There you go.
Yeah, I will go on stages. I will share my story. Like, these are the first times, and it's really scary and like, oh, saying that stuff and starting to strip away the shame. But I do know, like, I'm here for a purpose. I do know that I have a deep thing inside of me for service. Service, like Orby Market, service to the universe or something like that. Like, I want to leave it better. I want to leave everybody better. I feel like I do. I want to leave everybody better that I meet.
I like that goal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for starting to tell your story and sharing it with me and for those listening, and also thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey.
Thank you.
That means a lot to me.
Thank you, Joel. A major part.
I love you.
I love you. We love her.
Yay.
Oh, but we
Cody.
don't love that. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you for joining me, Donna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me share my story in this safe way. And my hope is that it inspires somebody to just look at their life and how they feel and what they want, and they go for it. Don't wait 59 years.
But if it happens that way, it's okay.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks again, Donna, and to all of you out there listening, I invite you to make a little room for healing in your life. And I look forward to our next time together. Bye.
Aho.